First Heat animation class, we are going to look at how to do a walk cycle. This is extra stuff. It's not easy to do a walk cycle. I think it's more tough than to do a jump. Even though, wait a minute, I don't know. Let's just go have a look. Here is the diagram we're going to use as a reference again. You should always have references. You can do a walk cycle yourself. The problem with doing a walk cycle, the only time you can really do it is on a treadmill and then have someone record it. But then there's got the arms that are blocking the way and stuff like that. Maybe the distance between you and the treadmill, and there's all these different obstacles. It might be tough to record. So here we are looking at drawing from Richard Williams, epic animation educator, one of the originals from the Disney group. And here I've written down the number of frames it should take. So a walk cycle is actually 24 frames. And so you got frame 0, 6, 12, so roughly 6 frames for each pose. So I break it down as the contact, then we have the passing position, which is here on frame 6. We have the contact again on frame 12. We have the passing position on frame 18, and then we're right back at frame 0 at the contact. So that creates the loop. It's 24 frames. Since in Animate we can't go back to 0 frames, we will have to go with 1, 7, 13, 19, 25. Does that make sense? And then we would have a walk cycle from 1 to 24. So because 1 and 25 are same. Does that make sense? Anyways, I've got things set up in Animate already. Created a motion tween for everything, which created the tweens here, created symbols for us automatically. And I also then went and parented everything. Once I had them again as graphics, then I can change the rotation axis. So here is, I'm going to have this go to frame 25, so I'll hit F5 here, and then I will just work through. So we're going to work with our first pose and the contact position. Just for the purpose of this, I'm going to rotate. So just for the purpose of this, I'm going to get this character ready. I'm going to rotate the legs, and that's our contact position. Looks okay. It's not perfect. Close scene here. And then I'll move the torso down. And then go to the upper arm, and so you can see that the right leg is forward, so that means the left arm goes forward. And I'll just add a slight bend here too, and a slight bend here as well. I'll then go to the upper arm, which is back here. It's hidden. I'm going to go and rotate that back a little bit. I'm going to just exaggerate it. I'm going to push it pretty far back just so we can see it. So there is the first pose on frame 1. We'll go to frame 7, and this is where we have the passing position. So we'll start to animate the legs. Hit F6 on the keyboard. Allows us to create a keyframe. And this leg is passing, so we're going to need to add F6 to all of these layers. So we're just going to hit Shift, and then hit F6. And then scroll up here, Shift, hold, hit F6. And now we've got those keyframes in for the second pose. It's going to be a lot easier for us to move things around. So this leg is passing, so there's no weight on this leg. Instead, there should be a bit of a bend to it, whereas this leg carries all the weight. So we got something like this happening. And so like this will happen, and then grabbing the torso, moving the torso up like that. The arms will rotate down, and the upper arm here will also rotate down. Okay, so we got something like this. Notice too the head, there's no movement on the head yet, so that does not look good. So we'll need to do something for the neck and the head. So on the first pose, we can then just drop the neck down a little bit, and then also the head down a little bit. There we go. So there's that first pose. There's frame 7, then we'll go to frame 13. That's 6 frames later. I'm going to go into repeat. Hold down Shift, click, hit F6, creates a keyframe, and then we have the other pose. Okay, so there's my next pose, and that's what it looks like. So the head still needs to be animated, and that's how you'd go. So you got frame 13, 6 frames is frame 19 over here. You'd add a keyframe, shift click, and then from 19 you'd have 25 would be the next one. And then you'd have this loop. So the next one would be on frame 25 and to finish it off. And so there would be a 1 frame hiccup because frame 1 and frame 25 are the same. There's not really a way to hide frame 25 on here, so there would be a bit of a hiccup when you try to loop it. But then if you wanted to loop it, you could also just copy and paste frames. So you'd go and shift click these, you'd hit copy frames, and then you'd paste them in. So again, frame 25 would be exactly the same as frame 1. So we could select all these and then paste them here, and then you'd have frame 25. That's it. I want to make this nice and short. It's for making a walk cycle. You saw the poses, use those as references. The in-betweens could also happen on frame 4, 10. If you want to add a little bit more emphasis to it. There's some overlap and follow through that I haven't talked about that also could be added, and some easing in and out. But those will be covered in a later video. Keep learning. Professor Pete out.